Hello and welcome to another edition of This Week in ITFC History. My name is David Diamond and I'll be here each week with man of a million voices, some of them similar, the Renegade Statman, to review and talk about the names, the games, the wins, the draws and the losses from this week in ITFC History. Stat, how you doing, mate? It's been a while, mate. It's been a while. All sorts of things conspired against us last week, didn't it, really?
Work got in the way.
Work got in the way. Your obviously chest infection at least, wasn't it? Man flu, chest infection, sinus infection, every cold.
Colleagues rather helpfully said it was a chest infection, but I thought, brilliant, it's going to maybe help with, in perfecting some of my impressions and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll come on to that. We'll see. See. Anyway, but it's good to be back. And I thought maybe it was a case of perhaps the stat machine failed its MOT, something like that. The
stat machine would never fail its MOT. The stat machine was sitting there looking at me, saying, "Come on, get off the sofa. You're sitting there with a box of tissues, which, because I've been my nose was."
What you've been watching? Sorry. Yeah,
I've been watching Great British Bake Off, and I was very disappointed that guy had gone out. So.
Oh yeah.
I was under my blanket, so I'm feeling a bit better, a bit nasally.
I've got to say we're recording. The Bake Off's on any minute, so I think I'm going to have to watch it on +1. Big fan, like yourself. Big fan. Stat. Where are we
win it? Hang on, who's going to win it?
Who's going to win it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know their names. Unfortunately, there's he's either an Indian guy, is he? I'm not sure what.
Yeah. Cries a lot.
Good cook. Him. Yeah, he's very good, isn't he? He always
I like Manon, but just as a secret between me and you, I don't really like Manon, but I just take an interest. Are we watching Great British Bake Off? Well, that Manon's in it, and you can see Mrs. Stat going,
I can see why. Yeah.
The French accent.
She's a very talented baker, no doubt.
She is.
Fantastic. No doubt about it. Anyway, enough, Stat. Enough of this. Where are we going first on our journey back into time?
So we're going back to the 12th of October, 9th. So we're in October now. Obviously, I think it was probably September last time you and I got together. Yeah, 12th of October, 1985. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. We're in Division 1. Bobby Ferguson is in the home dugout, and I don't even know if he's from Newcastle, but Willie McFall was in.
Willie McFall. I think he's Irish. No, I think he's he could well have been, but he certainly, I believe, played in golf in Northern Ireland. I think.
What about you, Liz? What about you?
How about you, Les? How about you, Les? Oh, yours is far better. Right? Well,
I've been.
How about you?
It's the Corvonia that I've had.
Right.
You remember that advert with the chef Ainsley Harriott, and he used to go Corvonia. All right, okay.
I assume that's a cold remedy, is it?
Yeah, cold. Well, I've had more than a cold. I've had a bad chest as well, and sinus and stuff like that.
Anyway, so go on. So it's Newcastle, Ipswich, Newcastle.
Yeah, and I've got to say, 1985. I don't know a lot about this game. I went through. Dave picks the games, and I'm like, okay, let's have a little look. And I thought, well, this game doesn't really jump out at me. And then I had a look back at the books and records and stuff, and it still doesn't. But I tell you what, it's not going to stop us. We will fill in and pad and do all
and make stuff up if we need to. No, I mean, I must admit, around about that time, 1985, I was 23, 24, 22, 23. Yeah, I was playing Saturdays then, playing Saturday afternoons then.
I was
so
young, but I was probably
many games.
I was probably just wandering around town going to our price.
Getting into all sorts of trouble, probably. Yeah.
But I thought what we could do, we could pick up from 5 league games before, and I could just give you the results of the previous 5 league matches before we go to this one.
Go on.
Shall I do it in the style of James Alexander-Gordon?
Oh, if you would, go on.
I mean, I'm not very good, but
I love. So it's going to be Ipswich Town. Go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, Ipswich Town 0. Oh no! Let me do that again.
Wrong.
I know we're recording this live, so just carrying on. But I'm going to perfect.
Go on, do it.
I'll do it in my own way. Ipswich Town 0.
Yeah.
West Bromwich Albion 1.
You just knew it. So he was so good. James Alexander-Gordon was so good. You knew from the first score almost whether it was a win, a draw, or defeat. That's how good he was. Go on.
These first 4 games have a common theme as well. Really.
Go on.
Ipswich Town 0. Aston Villa 3. Leicester City 1. Ipswich Town 0. Luton Town 1, Ipswich Town 0. I think at that point we were looking to change the name. And then finally, can't believe it, Nottingham Forest 3, Ipswich Town 1. We got a goal. So the 5 matches before, we'd lost all 5, and our league record at this point was 1-2. Yeah, it wasn't great. Drawn 1 and lost 8, which is probably similar to.
And in fact, after this game, I won't give the result of this game. We'll get to that. But after this game, we then went 3 more games, which were all ended in defeats, and again scored no goals, none at all. Didn't you think? When listening back and thinking back about James Alexander-Gordon, I always wanted him to go Ipswich Town 3, West Bromwich Albion 3. You know. I'd love him to do stuff like that, but you know, you knew where it was coming from. It's brilliant.
There's another one like Ipswich Town 1, Arsenal 0. Give me completely wrong.
Ipswich Town 1, Arsenal. Yeah, 0. No, you're right. Yeah.
I was worried there that you were going to do exactly the same joke as I was, and people would be laughing about it a lot more. But while on that point, talking about James Alexander-Gordon, we must say Peter Brackley passed away. I know, very sad.
Legend. Only 67, only 67, but by all accounts, enjoyed life to the full. I think by the sound of it.
When I get to 67, I'm going to enjoy life to the full.
Absolutely.
It just makes me think of Sunday afternoon, sitting there on the settee watching
Gaza play for Lazio.
Football Italia.
Brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, we've digressed enough. Go on, Stan.
We have. So the attendance will just tell you this was a big game. You know, Newcastle, as Sky Sports would always say, are the greatest fans in the world, which they're not. Don't be fooled by their 51,000 that they get now, because you've just got to go back to about 87 and they've got about 13,000. But this game's at Portman Road, and it was a sellout. If the attendance capacity was 12,536.
I can't believe even back in those days that we weren't getting more. But I suppose it was same. So this ultimately, spoiler alert, this was not surprising given the results we've given out so far. The previous 5, the next 3 that I said. This ultimately season ended up in relegation, and this was the end of 18 consecutive seasons, I think, in the highest in Division 1 as it was then. So I think obviously now if we're in the Premier League getting walloped every week, I'm sure we'd still see 20,000 plus, wouldn't we? Probably. Well, you'd think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You would hope so.
Yeah, but different days back. Different days back then.
Well, let's go through the 2 teams.
Go.
So Town lined up with Cooper in goal, Frank Yallop, Irvin Gernon. Always like a name like that. Is he the only Ipswich Town? I think I've said that before. Ipswich Town footballer whose name rhymes. Irvin Gernon. Yeah. It's a bit like that thing that Ant and Dec used to do. Called, remember that Wonky Donkey?
Oh
yeah. Always makes me think of that.
Yeah.
Steady, mate. You're going to catch my man flu down there.
I'm all right, mate. Go on.
Ian Cranston.
Yeah.
Kevin Steggles. You can kind of see why we're struggling a little bit with some of these names that are appearing.
Yeah.
Romeo Zondervan, Ian Atkins, Mark Brennan, Michael Cole.
Oh, Cole, look at that. Yeah.
Kevin Wilson.
Yeah.
And Jason Dezelle.
You say some decent players there, Stat. I mean, okay, there's 1 or 2 you'd think, okay, but there is some decent players there, isn't there? I mean, Brennan, I always thought a lot of that Michael Cole that he would perhaps go on, but then I think Atkinson came along maybe in his same year or a year below him and totally sort of outshone him, really, didn't he? But I always thought he's a decent player. I think did he go to Fulham or something like that? So I think he did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm rubbish at those games.
Oh, no,
I think he did go Fulham. Should we go through the Newcastle United team?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I've just written their first names down.
I'll try. I think I'll fill him in. If not, I'll make it up. Go on.
Thomas.
Martin, definitely.
Haddock.
Peter. Or Fried. Yeah. Go on.
Anderson.
Smoked
Haddock, yeah.
I think that's John Anderson. Yeah, that's right.
I wrote Grizzly down here.
Go on.
Davies or...
That was Alan Davies, I think, that played for Man U in the cup final, I believe. Sadly, no longer with us, I believe. I think he passed away some time ago. Yeah.
One of the Clark brothers, I don't know.
Let's say Alan got converted back from striker to centre half, just for let's say that. Yeah.
One of my favourite ever Norwich City managers now, Glenn Roeder.
Wonder why that was. Yeah. Good footballer, mate. because very good footballer.
McDonald.
Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
McCreary.
David McCreary, ex-Man U, yeah.
Yeah. Riley.
Old mother. No, George Riley.
George Riley.
Yeah.
Beardsley. I don't know who Beardsley is.
Beardsley. Peter Beardsley, man.
Peter Beardsley.
That was a ratatouille.
Yeah.
For Raoul. Go on, yeah.
And Marcus Stewart. I don't know who Stewart was.
Yeah, I'd say Marcus. I think it's Ian actually, but yeah, Marcus, Ian could be either. Yeah. Nothing leaps out of there other than the obvious Peter Beardsley.
Well, for me, it's Beardsley and Glenn Roeder.
Obviously, Glenn Roeder, yeah. But probably a season or two before Gaza appears, probably, I guess. Yeah.
So Gaza at this point was still sulking over the fact that that Bobby Robson hadn't given him a trial or whatever.
I reckon Gaza at that point, what's this, 85, must have been about 16, would he have been? Yeah, around about there. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Off on a bit of a tangent, but did you see that Gaza's nomination for the Scottish Hall of Fame was revoked?
Yeah, I can... Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, who was... Vinnie Jones. I was listening to TalkSport, and Vinnie Jones actually phoned the programme up in arms because he's like Gaza's best mate or was one now, and he said, this could really... And probably this could set him back or something like that, But I have seen... I thought I saw a quote from Gaza this week saying that he almost... he understands it and he accepts it sort of thing,
Well, back to 1985, and it's the 29th minute, and like I said, I don't know anything about this goal. So Town took the lead in this game. Town took the lead in the 29th minute. Michael Cole had a fine curling shot to put Town 1-0 up.
Yeah, he couldn't have scored many goals for Town, I'm sure. But anyway, go on. Yeah. Yeah,
he's not scored more than 3.
No, I don't think he had. But yeah, okay. I'd say this game escapes me, but I don't. Why did I pick it? Go on anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you picked it.
I thought it was 2-2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 6 minutes before half time, Romeo Zondervan has got a fierce drive that beats Martin Thomas.
Another fierce drive.
Fierce drive. So there you go. We're heading into half time at 2-0, but then your mate Peter Beardsley. Hey, Beardsley. That sounded a bit more like that. Actually sounded like
Mick McCarthy.
Yeah, I could do it. So I'm going to perfect my Mick McCarthy accent now by going Peter Beardsley. No, I still can't do it. And so Beardsley scored 2 minutes before half time. He had a shot that was deflected past Cooper, so that gave the Geordies a lifeline, as they would say.
Yeah.
So the important thing is to hold out for at least 20 minutes in the second half, and Town lasted 9 minutes. And we're going with Kevin McDonald.
Let's say Kevin. Yeah, someone out there will put us right.
He had a flying header past Cooper, make it 2-2. That's how it ended. So it was a Desmond.
What I'd say about that season, I think, so where are we? October. I want to say it was only like we had a penchant, didn't we, for throwing away leads. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Because I think it was only about a month later, or maybe 6 weeks later, that weren't we not. Well, as we know, it was a pivotal game of the season. Might not say too much about it actually, because that would be a cracking game to cover. We may have even covered it last season. I can't remember.
I think we did. It was etched in the memory that you can't remember it. But I think
we
remember
might
there was two games, weren't there? There was Everton and Oxford.
Literally consecutive weeks. Weeks. Yeah, the Oxford one we were 3 up. I don't think we were 3 up against Everton. I'm sure we weren't. But the Oxford one we were 3 up. So yeah, that didn't do our survival chances. No problem scoring. But yes, big problem scoring. But when we did score, we didn't seem to be able to hold on to leads and keep them out the other end.
Anything from our lineup that jumps out at you at all?
Yeah, I said. I think that there's no Butcher, is there? Obviously, you got Ian Cranston, Kevin Steggles playing central defence, Irvin Gurning playing left back. So obviously Butcher, who we know was still there, he left at the end of the season when obviously we got relegated and had to sell him. He went to Rangers. Yeah, he's very conspicuous by his absence in that team because I think we only just went down that season. I think he actually held the bloody team together, didn't he? He was fantastic.
Yeah. And now he's on Life's a Pitch, which is
he good. Is. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I mean, that was fairly when they sort of announced that when they were saying, replacing him with, I thought it might be Butcher, and very appropriate, I think. We went down this season. Just had a few notes. We survived 3 seasons after Robson left, so this was the 4th, and we got progressively lower, 9th, 12th, 17th the season before. And ironic, this season, I think we only just went down. I think Oxford beat Arsenal weekend side to send us down on the very, very last game of the season.
That was on a bank holiday Monday.
Yeah, so yeah, it was. Yeah. So I think that season had a degree of inevitability about it. I think we're always sort of pushing. Certainly the season before, we're pushing back against relegation, and our 17, 18 seasons at the top came to an end. I've got number one that I remember was number one for quite a while that year, and to the point that whenever I hear this record, I get some of my chimes. And any idea what it is? Now, how can I say it? It's the lady that sings it is in a hurry.
The lady that sings it is in a hurry.
Yeah,
is it? Flashdance.
So you're very close. Is in a hurry,
right.
And the title of this song has also been certainly another number one for another group, and certainly another, I'd say, top 10 song for another group.
So, Lady was in a hurry.
Oh, she's in a hurry. Yeah.
Oh,
Lady.
Is this? Oh, I know it now because it's her name. It's her surname, isn't it? It's Jennifer Ruff.
Hey, there you
and
go.
Her cover of Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Power of Love. Yeah. Was it that one?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh God, that song's great.
You want to hear it? Say that though, but I went to Stoke High School. Big up the Maidenhall posse, and I think I remember dancing at a couple of school discos with that. At the end, you never spoke to a girl the whole time. Yeah.
Made your move, didn't you? Made your move.
Yeah,
the stat move.
Slid in.
Did you give her a stat when was that the point? Would you like to dance? Oh, and by the way, this season Ipswich have been in the top division for 17 consecutive seasons or something.
And then she said no. She said, please, can you give me 5 results in the style of James Alexander Gordon? So
and he told you say play your cards right. You can come around mine and look at my spreadsheet. Oh no, it was way before then. And look at my scrapbooks.
Yeah, I've used that phrase many times.
I bet you have.
So
where we going?
Before we finish it, so it was the 12th league game. We had 8 points.
Yeah, I think it's got a certain symmetry to it, hasn't it?
We were 21st. Yeah, slightly worrying. But let's not worry about the future. Let's worry about the past.
Worry about the past.
Oh, I tell you what,
where we going?
I'm going to have that on my gravestone. Don't worry about the future. Worry about the past.
Yeah, very seminal. Prophetic, seminal, like that.
What? Oh, pathetic! Someone just shouted from the audience over there.
You got
the two dogs. Right, so we're going to it's the 15th of October 2011. I can feel I'm getting a bit more nasally now at this point, but I'm just going to carry on.
This is more like it.
And we're at the Cardiff City Stadium. Any idea who we might be playing?
Cardiff? Do you think Cardiff potentially Cardiff?
Yeah.
Sure.
Silly name for a stadium, isn't there? Is there any other stadiums that have got? Are we like Ipswich Town?
I don't know if there is. I'm sure that again people are shouting. If we have got any listeners by now, people are shouting at us. Yeah, don't be silly. What about this? What about that? Yeah, it's a nice stadium. I've been to the Cardiff City Stadium, so it's all quite nice. Yeah.
So Town went into the game looking for their 3rd consecutive win, and we lined up all in black. I love this kit.
Oh yeah,
fantastic kit.
Yeah, it was good.
So Jewel is Town's manager, and Malky Mackay is the Cardiff manager.
Yeah,
he's gone right out of it now, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just looking at the. Yeah, Malky Mackay. Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Do you want me to go through the lineup?
Go through the lineup. Yeah.
I can see you were getting a bit bored there, my Malky Mackay sort of.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I was just checking the lineups. Go on, Stat. Go on.
So we'll do it. What do you want? Home team or Town first?
Go home.
All right.
Go home.
You can boo whenever you want. There's a couple of names I think you should boo. David Marshall.
Boo!
Kevin McNaughton.
Boo! Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. I couldn't stand him.
Prematurely, one of his players prematurely grey at 27.
I mean, he makes John Walters look like he's jet black hair. McNaughton, but he was a great player.
He was up and down, wasn't he? Up and down.
Andrew Taylor. Mark Hudson.
Yeah, centre back. Palace, I think. Yeah.
Ben Turner.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you reckon that there probably is like a pod where somebody in Cardiff and they're going through the Ipswich names going, never heard of them? Because
I know. Yeah, I've heard of these people, but I couldn't comment really.
Peter Whittingham, he
player,
was a player.
What's a left foot?
Don Cowie.
Yeah, Watford. I want to say ex-Watford or about to go to Watford. Yeah.
Craig Conway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Aaron Gunnarsson.
Him of the long throw. Would it be? I think probably. Oh, I don't know. Can he say it? Can he actually say it even? Go on, stat.
Shall I give you a clue what he's like? He looks like an alien. Robert Earnshaw.
Yeah.
And Rudy Gestead is making his debut.
Yeah, there's the thing.
Is that his professional debut? 6-7 years ago?
Not sure. Yeah, possibly. Don't know. Don't know
all of
where he came from. I like the name of their sub, not Joe Mason. Philip Kiss.
Philip Kiss.
Lovely name.
Actually, name. You know, when we were going back to school discos at Stoke High, that was the name that I used to have.
Philip Kiss.
My mate used to be called Max Power, and I went, no, I'm going to be Philip Kiss.
Who's turning out for the town? Who's turning out in black? Stat.
Well, no, for our Cardiff City viewers, and we have loads, particularly from the West Country or whatever you call that area that they're from, Wales.
Wales, Stat.
Yeah, they're going to go to some of these players, but I'm not convinced, but I might be a little bit biased. David Stockdale.
Oh.
You can boo as a Cardiff fan any that you think they might boo. Carlos Edwards.
Oh, I liked him playing back. I did like him there. Yeah.
Danny Collins.
Yep.
Not a lot from the home crowd at Cardiff.
No, not a lot coming yet. No.
Ibrahima Sonko.
Right, yeah.
Grant Ledbetter.
Ooh! I liked him, really.
Did you not like him?
Not really.
I liked him. And you know what annoyed me? People used to call him Lead Boots. It was all very funny to call him idiots.
I could have been one.
It could have been you. Lee Bowyer. Boo.
I loved him. Loved him.
Keith Andrews.
Keith Andrews, yeah.
Jimmy Bullard.
Oh, Jimmy Bullard.
Boo. He was cheering him before he signed permanently.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the strangest things, wasn't it? This is a good side, Stat. Go on.
And the two strikers for Ipswich Town today are Michael Chopra.
That would have got a boo from Cardiff.
joined from Cardiff in that summer for $1.5 million.
That'd have got a boo, I guess.
Welcome back to Wales, Jason Scotland.
Oh, no. Of course, yeah. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, that took the boo would have taken the roof off there. I like our bench. I like our bench. Well, I like to.
Well, I know you like the bench because there's one of them that you think is a far better player than
obviously Jet. Obviously, Jet is on the bench.
Reece Wabara,
who I'd totally forgotten about.
Well, I hadn't forgotten about him because I was in Nando's, and as you know, and I don't know how long ago this was. I was a bit silly on Twitter then. People can disagree. But I saw Reece Wabara in there. So I thought it'd be quite funny. Instead of going up to him clearly and saying, all right, Reece, how's it going? I thought, look at Reece enjoying his Nando's. And then I watched him. So the family, sitting around eating and stuff. And
he's
That's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm just looking around. And the next thing I see him pick up his phone and he looks and then you can see him going, who is it? But I was getting stuck into my chicken wrap.
Peri.
Double chicken wrap. Yeah, extra hot double chicken wrap as well. So let's have a look at what we're in all black. There we go. So we will go to the goals. I read all these other bits down the bottom there. So Cardiff City take the lead. There's a long throw from Gunnarsson. He does a throw that Jonas would like to do. In fact, probably Jonas only does.
Gunnarsson one that sort of. It's either one that runs sort of like in a straight, sort of sideways, and he runs. It sounds odd. He sort of runs in a straight line, then he sort of throws it. He gets more.
Well, I tell you what, that was just first of all, actually, that was a good impression, and I'll give you bonus points for purchase. I like using that when I don't know, isn't it? I don't know anything practical, but if I'm with somebody else, and they'll say, "Oh, you need to get a bit of purchase on that,"
leverage.
I have no idea what these.
Leverage is another good word.
And it comes to Rudy Gestead, who's on just on the outskirts. On the outskirts.
Outskirts of Cardiff? What, stuck in traffic?
Well, he's a bit close. He's on the outskirts of the 6-yard box, so he's probably 6.5 yards out.
He's still on the M4.
Yeah, and if you imagine where my hand is here, so the post is that way, and the ball comes across, and he just flicks it. Little flick. And David Stockdale goes in. It goes it past Stockdale in, so it's 1-0 to Cardiff. Just keep it together there. So people don't realise that we've got an empty room where Benjamin Bloom is recording, and I think he might have just gone past in his pyjamas.
I think it's either Ben in his pyjamas or Shaley Bakes. I'm not sure. Bakes. I'm not sure. But and obviously for good old Rudy, a goal on his debut.
Yeah, Rudy. Were you trying to do that? Is that how it went?
What?
the Rudy song, Rudy.
Well, message
goal on your debut.
Oh, it's a message. That one. Oh, I wish it was number one. It's not, unfortunately.
No. So 1-0 down in Wales, and as we always know, that doesn't really matter. You know, it happened last week a couple of weeks ago at the Liberty City Stadium.
We're durable.
So, and back then we were. So 11 minutes after, so it was 30 minutes. Keith Andrews, he's got the ball just inside the Cardiff half, plays a lovely ball through to Scotland, who's probably, getting a bit of a jeer then. He's got his back to goal, turns round, and then leashes an effort. It's fairly low effort, about 20 yards past, who did I say the keeper was? David Marshall.
Boo!
Yeah. And then he runs and kind of is right in front of the Cardiff fans, given at that.
Yeah, so I bet because they call Swansea Jacks. I think they call
Jack
them,
Army or something.
Jack Army, yeah.
I don't understand that. Why is that?
No idea.
Okay. Thanks for that. Well, maybe somebody who can
someone
message us in. Why are they called the Jack Army? Then Tanner on top of the game a little bit. Chopra has a chance. It just goes wide. Ledbetter, he has a great effort. I know you don't like him, but I do. And it probably was his lead boots. Hits it from about 25 yards up and just out, and it just goes over the bar past Marshall. And so we go in at half time 1-1, and in the second half Town take the lead 6 minutes in there. Andrews is inside the box, and he plays so he's come down the left, and he plays a ball, high looping ball across the box to Edwards, and Edwards kind of, in my opinion, arrives to it a bit late, and he stretches with his right foot, tries to hook it, and he then hooks another looping ball over, right. And then Chopra is about 1 yard out, or 0.5. He's on the outskirts of the post with the defender, and he heads it from 1 yard between the post and the Cardiff defender. The linesman then gives offside. The linesman gives offside, and then do you reckon that does Shady know that she's being recorded?
I don't think she does, because
no, she's gone again. So the linesman then gives it offside, and all of the Town players are like, that was an effort that's been ruled out. But then the referee just gives it and just kind of goes,
quite right,
stop doing that.
Quite
so
right.
Town go 2-1 up with still a long part of the game to go, 40 minutes of the game. Scotland then has a chance. Andrews plays a neat ball into him. He twists past the defender. He's 8 yards out. Basically just got Marshall in front of me, and his shot is saved by the feet of Marshall. And in fact, it had gone in, I think, 3-1. And that season would have ended a lot better, and potentially Paul Jewell would still be here.
Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? He because did we not? Was this not the season where a few games before that we played Brighton and beat them 3-1? I think Chopra scored a couple of ridiculously good goals. Did we not go top? Did we not go like top or second after that? We had a really good.
We were certainly.
We were up there, and I think then we had a dip. I mean, looking at this, we're 11 games, so we're 7-11 games, 17 points, so we're 10th. So we're still in and around the playoffs then, aren't we?
We are, but we would have been closer in there, but with 18 minutes to go, there's a penalty for Cardiff. Yeah. The referee's deemed it a deliberate handball against Edwards, but Earnshaw, fair play to him for looking like an alien, but also just not giving up on this ball, because he's on at the byline and he flicks it back. Flicks it back at Edwards. Yeah. Edwards can't do anything. Hits him on the arm. The ref consults with the linesman. Penalty's given, and Whittingham, as I put, dispatched it right past the diving Stockdale.
Yeah, I remember taking penalties. He used to whip them, didn't he? With his left foot, whip them quickly in the corner. Yeah, good class play. That's a decent result there, because I'm where Cardiff finished that season. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's always a decent result at Cardiff. But you're right, that season just dropped off dramatically, didn't it?
Well, like you said, we were 10th, 17 points from 11 games, so we would have liked that.
Yeah.
So let's move on to game 3, and this is what I like to call the Diamond era.
Oh, I love this. Yeah, this is a great game.
I'm getting a bit croaky now. I'm gonna take some bookings for Barry White,
the Walrus of Love.
Yeah.
Go on, Stat. Well, go on. Plough through this game because this is a cracker.
It's the 16th of October, 1976. Now, people might be thinking, hang on a minute. When they listen to it, that was yesterday. But obviously, we were doing this pod last week, and in the true style of maybe a game being postponed and the program already been produced, and then you buy the program the next week with the previous week's team. It's the same thing. We're cheap. We can't go through all of this every week. So here we are, 16th of October 1976. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. We're at Upton Park, or the Bowling Ground.
The Bowling Ground, yeah.
I don't. It's always been Upton Park to me.
Well, you say that, yeah, but I know a lot of die-hard West Ham fans, and they always call it. Oh, yeah, I remember it's not as good now as when we're at the Bowling. Never call it Upton Park, never.
It was always Upton Park to me, and I remember when they left.
To me, yeah.
Remember when they left and Sky did that sickening coverage of a team leaving a football ground, which many other football teams had done before, and the Bowling Ground just kept getting mentioned every 2 minutes, and I was thinking, I hardly ever heard it called that before. But anyway,
I think that's what the locals perhaps used to call
two greats in the dugout. John Lyall was in the home dugout for West Ham, and Bobby Robson was in the away dugout. We'll go through the teams.
Yeah, go for it.
Hang on, newsflash.
Oh,
Bobby Robson was not in the dugout because he wasn't at the game. He was finalising the deal for Paul Mariner.
Paul who?
Mariner.
Whatever became of him? That was another one of his rubbish signings. God's sake.
Yeah. So
that was actually, you mentioned that stat. That was an interesting one because I remember at the time 2 other clubs were reportedly in for Mariner, and one of them being West Ham and the other one being West Brom, I think.
Right. He had a thing against the West, probably. So that's why he went for us.
Oh, well, maybe so.
Yeah. So the West Ham team were Mervyn Day. Yeah.
Keith Coleman.
Locke.
Kevin Locke.
Bonds.
Obviously, Billy Bonds.
I don't know what you think about that, but you think that could almost be like some sort of solicitors. Coleman, Locke, and Bonds. You think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Green.
Coleman, Locke, Bonds, and Green. Even more so. Yeah, I think that was Bill Green, I believe his name was. Bill Green. Yeah, came from Carlisle, I believe. Yeah.
The only one out there is Mervyn Day and Billy Bonds. Tommy Taylor.
Yeah, Tommy Taylor.
Move on. Yeah. Pat Jennings at the time was playing as an outfielder.
Yeah, he did that sometimes, like rush keeper.
Yeah.
Pat. Yeah, that was Billy Jennings. Yeah.
Any relation to Pat?
I think it was his cousin.
Oh, see, I learn all about these sort of different relationships that they have. Yeah. Padden.
That was Graham Padden. Boo! Ex-Norwich.
He'd be good on this show. We could do with a bit more Padden.
To
fill it out. A. Taylor.
So Alan Taylor scored 2 goals in the cup to win the cup. Scored 2 goals in the semi-final, 2 goals in the cup final, and another one who went on to play for Norwich.
Trevor Brooking.
Oh, player. Yeah, class, wasn't he? Yeah.
Now, this next guy confuses me. I'm going to stick my neck out. And it doesn't, there's only about 5,000 people watch this every week, so they're not going to take the mick. But is this Brian Robson?
I think this is Keith Robson.
Oh.
I think this is Keith Robson. You mean Brian Pop Robson?
Pop Robson, yeah. Who did he play for?
Well, he did. He did play for West Ham. Played for Sunderland, West Ham, Newcastle, Sunderland, West Ham. Someone out there is going to correct me. Probably a West Ham fan. I should have asked my brother-in-law. He's a big West Ham fan back in the day. I think this is Keith Robson, who again went on to play for Norwich, sort of left winger type. But then looking at their team, because Alan Taylor probably would have played up front with Billy Jennings. So I reckon this was Keith Robson, not Brian Pop Robson, who was a prolific scorer back in the day.
Did he like Pop?
I have no idea why he was called Pop. Perhaps because he's always popping up with a goal. Maybe that's what it was. Not sure of that. But
the away team at Upton Park.
Yeah.
was a pretty good team. Cooper, Burley, Mills, Hunter, Beattie, Talbot, Osborne, Walk, Birchin, Wymark, and Woods.
Yeah, it's a good team, isn't it? I mean, who's missing? No one. Really.
I can tell you who's missing. Eric Gates is missing because John Walk plays in centre midfield for the first time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Gates was never a regular by then, though, I don't think.
It said in the book. Don't blame me, it's the book I read.
Yeah, maybe he had broken through by that time.
Dave, as I said to you, go and write your own book if you want to rewrite history and stuff. But that book said to me Gates was injured.
That said to me Gates. No, okay.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think Gates was a nailed-on regular at that point. I mean, obviously,
early, isn't it?
He'd had a run. Yeah, it was, and he certainly hadn't found that in the whole position yet. But it's quite right. He said always quite rated. Wymark always. Wymark was just class player. But I always had a lot of time for Birchin. I always thought Birchin was a decent player, but obviously once Mariner comes, he's never gonna. He was quickly usurped by Mariner. But he was certainly the odd time that Mariner he went to Birmingham. I think maybe 18 months.
Yeah.
The season 18 months later. Birchin. And certainly when Marinand or Wymark was injured, he was more than an able understudy. Yeah, good player.
Town were in yellow shirts with the blue trim, little blue, a bit similar to what yourself were wearing.
I had one.
Blue little collar.
Fred Perry's. But yeah, I had that shirt. Yeah, as like the first classic Town away shirt.
You actually had that shirt?
Yeah, I had that. I had a yellow. Yeah, that Town away shirt.
Did they do replica kits back in when you were younger?
No, but you could buy that shirt. So I think it wasn't necessarily with a Town badge. Well, it wasn't. I know, not necessarily. It didn't have a Town badge on, but you could buy a similar shirt. And for instance, Man United used to play in that away shirt. I remember Man U playing. So a few clubs had sort of that similar shirt. You couldn't buy it with a badge. If you wanted a badge, you had to get the badge and do a bodge. Get your mum to do. No, my mum would, bless her, God rest her. She'd never done a bodge sewing job, but yeah, they didn't sell the replica shirts like that. But yeah, I had that sort of that shirt. Yeah.
Who did you have on the back? What name and number did you have on the back?
Yeah, sorry, I can't recall having a name or number on the back either. No, not quite. No. First time I saw that was in the old North American soccer league, NSA and ASL, Tulsa Roughnecks. That's the first time I saw shirts with numbers and names on, Pele, York Cosmos, that sort of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we go in. This is the ninth league game. There's 24,500 people at the Upton Park ground, as I'm going to call it now.
Ground. Yeah.
And at 10th minute, Town take the lead. And this is great. I saw this on YouTube, and I tell you what, if you do enough digging around, you can find it. And it's a clever dummy by Wymark on the right hand side of the pitch, and he goes past the defender. He's took himself a little bit further, and he whips this cross out. But when actually he plays a measured pass into Woods, who's near the penalty spot. One touch takes him wide, and you think it's maybe a bit too far, but then he just blasts it in past Mervyn Day.
You realise what a good player he was until you watch footage of Clive Woods, 2-footed as well, could take corners. Yeah, who can do that today? Could take in-swinging corners from both left foot and right foot. Very, very talented player. Great player.
Martin Waghorn, I know you like him taking corners.
Never seen Martin Waghorn take a corner with his right foot, mate.
He should never have been taking corners in the first place.
Stop! Don't. That's a whole can of worms. Go on.
And then Town have a chance at some point after the game, after the goal. Talbot effort has one that's cleared off the line. Walk has a drive that just goes over, and the game goes into the last 5 minutes. West Ham are then playing it across the back, kind of quite casually, and Woods robs a defender. It looks to me like it could be Billy Bonds, or certainly one of his solicitor partners. Yeah. And he goes on the run. He goes past the last defender into the penalty box. And it takes an age to pick his spot. You're thinking you're getting closer and closer to Mervyn Day. Just hit it. Day's standing there thinking, what am I going to do?
Calm.
Once the ball leaves his boot, then that's in the back of the net. Yeah. But to be fair to Mervyn Day, makes a great save right towards the end to deny Woods his hat-trick, which I think would have been his only hat-trick.
Definitely. I can't remember him scoring. I mean, I'd wager that this is probably the only game he scored 2 in. I don't know. Might be wrong. But I used to like watching. I remember West Ham, watching them back in the day on like the big match or match of the day. They had the little narrow goal nets, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah. tiny.
My dad always says, when he went to Upton Park, maybe that's where I got it from, but he said, depending on how far back you were, you couldn't see the goal line and stuff like that because it was pretty, compact, steep.
Oh God, there was no room behind the goals. Players celebrate now and run behind it. You couldn't there. There was like the goal net and the bloody, the wall. Yeah, good.
And now they've got that ground. Completely stupid stadium.
I know a few West Ham fans, and none of them are really happy.
They're all kicking off.
Yeah, but
down there,
West Ham.
What's the new ground called? The West Ham Stadium.
I think it's called. It's not called the London Stadium, mate.
London, Governor.
But what a run! I mean, we hadn't got. We hadn't started the season brilliantly, have we?
No.
By Ipswich standards back then.
Yeah. No, and I think the start was pretty dreadful, and Robson had to make some changes, and I think with Walk certainly being pushed into midfield for this game, I think started. If you look at that, started settling on the nucleus of his side,
final side really, and then you're talking a week, 2 weeks later, bringing Mariner into that side. And I think it's just bloody incredible, really, because this is the third win in a run of 15 undefeated games, which we win 12. Won 12, drew 3. I mean, and this is at the top level, of course.
Here's a question for you. I mean, like you say, that is a phenomenal run, but obviously Bobby Robson wasn't there. He was trying to finalise this deal for Paul Mariner. That would never happen now, would it?
No.
You never in the top flight would they say, Manchester United are playing Liverpool, but Jurgen Klopp's not here because he's currently over in Spain. Not going to happen.
No, that wouldn't happen, albeit arguably at the time it was probably Ipswich's, certainly was, without doubt, biggest ever, probably along with Alan Hunter, I guess, years before. Arguably Robson's best, the Dutchman, but at the time, probably Ipswich's biggest ever. Well, it was certainly a record for Ipswich. I think it was 200,000 plus, I believe, did John Pedalty and Terry Austin went to Plymouth. So, he was, like I said, West Brom were in for him, West Ham,
but wasn't that part of what interested Plymouth that they were getting? I think that West Ham, West Brom were just offering cash, basically.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. And I mean, Pedalty. Say about Austin, Pedalty was a class player. I mean, Pedalty would have played. Had it not been for Beattie, who was, but even at that time was relatively injury free for Beattie, bless him. Pedalty would have played a lot more games for Ipswich. Yeah, good player, very good player.
Did Pedalty ever get a penalty?
Did Pedalty ever get a penalty? I can't ever saw Pedalty take a penalty, but I'm sure he won a few penalties. But I didn't ever see Pedalty take a penalty.
I think I'm gonna
take a penalty.
I'm gonna write into the club program and see if I can sort of start a feature that they used to have back in the 70s, which is about a poem or whatever. And I'm gonna, did Pedalty ever take a penalty? It
could be a tongue twister.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're now going to the 18th of October 1986, my mum's birthday every year.
Happy birthday, Mum Stat.
Yeah. And so I wasn't at the game. I was clearly celebrating my mum's birthday. There was a few shenanigans. I certainly wasn't at this game.
I wasn't at Odsall. I really do wish I was.
Yeah. So it was Division 2. Bobby Ferguson is manager of town. And let me just scroll down. And yes, he was at the game. He wasn't finalising any deal.
So this was quite interesting because one thing to note here, the game was played at Odsall Stadium, which obviously the season before, I guess, 86 would have, or was it that? No, it must have been the end of the season before where they had the dreadful fire at Valley Parade, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they're playing at Odsall.
I remember if you kind of go back and think, what TV footage do you remember when you're younger?
Oh.
I was sitting at home.
Oh, bloody hell!
Probably been down the park with me mates, whatever. Came back, and then suddenly it was like, what was it, Grandstand or whatever it was, and they had. I mean, that was, actually, come on, let's be honest, it was 86, so we're not talking about like the 60s, but live. Suddenly you were straight over there, and you saw this. This fire engulfing the stadium, and
I think, like I said, it's a Saturday '86. I was probably definitely playing. I was playing then, but what I do remember, and on a similar vein, was certainly Hillsborough, and obviously that was going to be the game on Match of the Day that evening, and then Grandstand, and then just watching it all unfold on Grandstand. Yeah, awful, but there's a really good documentary because the manager, well, certainly, yeah, it was Trevor Cherry now, but the manager the year before was Terry Yorath, Gabby Yorath's dad. And there was a documentary on Sky, not so long back, it could be BT or Sky, one of these documentaries, because it was, how many years? I can't do the math, 30 years, something last year, 30 years since the fire, whenever it was. And, yeah, it's very well done. Gabby Yorath, narrated it, and she was there that day, as a one of the families, one of the players, and officials' family. So yeah, desperately sad. Hence the move to Odsal, which you say, yeah, temporary stadium. But as you said, is also a home for other sports as well. Yeah,
rugby league and speedway. And the thing that I've learned from this, and like I said, I like to learn things as well, was that actually it was called the Odsal Stadium. Because I'm pretty certain that for a long time, all my life, I've probably called it the Osdal Stadium. A little switch between the S and the D. So I was like, hang on, I've written that. I've typed that down wrong.
Definitely Odsal, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to go through. Let's have a look.
This is a game and a half. This is. I would say just quickly before we get to because this is a cracking game, and in front of a rather unappreciative small crowd, I've got to say. But maybe Osdal didn't hold that many, to be fair.
No, but yeah, Odsal did. Osdal did, but Odsal didn't. So they had an attendance of 5,438.
Yeah, I wonder what the Odsal capacity was. We're digging for your stat. Find that out, mate. Surely.
Anyway, you're going to fill in the blanks for the Bradford team.
Go
on. Litchfield.
Oliver. I think his name could have been. No, I think it was. That's where I got it from.
Are you Oliver? Reading the name after?
Yeah, that's what I thought I'd do. I want to say his name was. Let's give it. I want to call him Peter Oliver. I want to call him Peter Oliver. Yeah.
With
obviously Peter With converted from to left back from centre forward for Forest. Got to be
Abbott.
I want to say Nigel, but that's my brother-in-law, so unlikely. But I'll just call him Nigel.
Jackson.
That's Peter Jackson.
Oh, Peter Jackson. Went on to manage Huddersfield.
And I think them as well, possibly. Yeah.
Actually, he was a bit of an up-and-coming manager at one point, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah. And I don't quite know where that all went wrong with him.
That could be a lesson for up-and-coming managers.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on.
Evans.
Godfrey, Old England wicketkeeper.
Yeah.
Then
I was hoping you were going to say Marcus. Then I would like to think actually, has there ever been a footballer called Marcus Evans?
Maybe it's him. Maybe it could be.
Marcus Evans, Marcus Evans, the footballer, would go full in on a 50-50 tackle, and then at the last minute would just kind of pull out, and then maybe just go in a little bit, just like that. Hendry.
You are awful. That's John Hendry, isn't it? I know that. I think. Yeah.
Goodman.
Len Goodman, former Strictly Come Dancing judge. Obviously light in his feet and good enough to play up front on a muddy Odsal. No, that's Don Goodman, isn't it? I think that must be Don Goodman.
The Don Goodman?
That's the Don Goodman. Yeah.
I don't know if he played for Bradford, but that would have put him.
Yeah, I think it's Don Goodman.
Yeah, it might put him in the ballpark. He might be on the outskirts of his career there.
Career.
Leonard.
Don Goodman. Leonard. That's Leonardo DiCaprio. He before he made Titanic, he used to play up front for Bradford City.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, you owe me £1 if you say the name. Singleton.
It's Valerie Singleton.
Yes,
of Blue Peter. Yeah, who I heard on the radio today. Today they had a show for the 60th anniversary of Blue Peter. Yeah, and that's got to be Valerie.
I still watch it. It's great. It's a great show.
It's on like one of the kids channel, like BBC or whatever it is.
It's got lots of different things on there. Like news programs nationwide and stuff.
Nationwide news? No, what's it called? Nationwide.
John Craven's news round.
Craven's news round. Yeah.
And Ellis.
Janet Ellis, another Blue Peter presenter.
Special.
Sure, they haven't got a Noakes and a Purvis anyway. No, they haven't.
They might have.
Blue Peter special. Yeah. There's obviously of Sophie Ellis Bextor, of course.
I don't believe you.
Who's playing in town, Stat?
Right, so Cooper, as always, he's a stalwart. He's involved in every game.
Bless him. This was his last season, I think. Yeah.
Yallop.
Frankie.
Yeah. Romeo Zondervan was playing at left back in absence of Steve McCall.
Yeah, McCall was still there, so he was. Yeah, Cooper and McCall was still there. Okay. Yeah. So this McCall, This is the first season after relegation, wasn't it? Yeah.
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 Ian Atkins, Ian Cranston, Jason Dazelle, Nigel Gleghorn, Mark Brennan, Mish DeVray,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
John Dean.
God, look at that! Look,
Kevin Wilson.
We went through it then. We played 3 up. That's 3 up. Surely DeVray, Dean, and Wilson would not play anywhere else but up top, would they? No. Come on. Bloody hell. Well, no wonder the game turned out.
So you've got to think. Well, let's go straight into it. So, on the 2nd minute, Town take the lead. Nigel Gleghorn, who we signed. No, actually, we've got to mention that he was a former fireman, wasn't it?
He was from a team called Seaford Red Star. I want to say there was Red Star, Red Star, Seaford Red Star. Good player. What I liked about Gleghorn was very left-footed, all left-footed, and very slight. He didn't look like he should be, but very skillful. Yeah, good player.
What I liked about him was that he was very left-footed, because that accusation was aimed at me many times in my career.
Well, I like left-footed players. Left-footed. I'd always find a place in my team for an all left-footed player.
Well, do you want to come around for a trial? I can come around now.
So if you're all left-footed, you'd be in my team.
Yeah. So there's a crossfield pass from Yallop. Gleghorn cuts inside the defender and he hammers a right foot shot past.
That shot my theory down. Right foot. Seriously?
Yeah, I know. And actually, there's something coming up about this. So that's 2 minutes. 7 minutes into the game, Valerie pops up. She fires in a right foot cracker for Bradford, and I reckon it's a cracker that she's made herself from 2 bits of
sticky back plastic,
toilet roll, and
sticky back plastic would have been involved.
Who would have thought this would have turned into a 60th Blue Peter?
So who knows where the pod goes? Who knows where the pod goes? Who knows how? We're on cutting edge.
21 minutes. There's another goal. Dazelle is a long ball from Cooper, and actually that seems to be a bit of a theme that season. Cooper, and I didn't realise until that game, maybe the pitches were shorter, but he's playing a number of long balls that are bouncing in the middle of the opposition's half, and we seem to be capitalising on it. And this is another one. A long ball, it's headed down by DeVray, and Dazelle, he just aims his shot past the keeper. So it's 2-1, and then suddenly, not that suddenly, 14 minutes later, there's a penalty for Bradford.
It's raining penalties. Go on.
Yeah, Cranston he pushes Henry. And Abbott, whoever you said he was.
Nigel, my brother-in-law,
Nigel, he tucks away the spot kick. So that's 2-2 at that point in the 35th minute. And
you always get this. If it's a live scoring game, Stat loses his way. What are the scores? 2-2.
2-2. It's Desmond. And then just going before half-time, there's suddenly another penalty. And the unfortunate Cranston gives away another penalty. This time he's harshly judged to have handled the ball from Leonard's header.
Yeah, DiCaprio. Yeah.
So, who are we playing? Bradford go in at half-time, 3-2 up. You're right, because it's whenever I start thinking about these goals.
Where am I? What's the score? 2-1? No, 3-2 at half-time. Yeah. So coming out second half, 3-2 down Stat.
3-2 down. And then, if we want to have a chance to get back in this game, we need to score an early goal. And 3 minutes into the half, Bradford failed to clear Cooper's long kick again. And Gleghorn drills it in, left-footed shot. There you go, just for you. It's a left-footed effort. So it's 3-3 after 48 minutes, and we go into the last 15 minutes, and it's still 3-3. And then another long kick. This is the third long kick. So we were hoofing there. Bobby Ferguson was probably. I reckon at that time, a young Mick McCarthy had photos of Bobby Ferguson up on his wall. So Cooper's just launched a long one down there. The Bantams, as I put them there. Yeah. They failed to clear it, and Gleghorn swerved past Oliver, and blasted in another long-range effort. But I'm not sure what foot that was with.
It's got to be left. But if it's long range, Gleghorn's got to be left, isn't it?
Here's a statistic trivia for you. It was a second 4-3 win of the season. Obviously, a few weeks ago we covered the one at West Brom where John Dean scored the hat-trick. And at the end of the game, the pitch was quickly transformed. We touched upon this at the beginning. It was transformed into a speedway track for the Bradford Dukes, who had a meeting that night. But also, they were putting up some posts for the Bradford Rugby League team, whoever they were.
Blimey.
They weren't the Bradford Bulls then, were they?
No, I don't think so. No,
so the pitch condition was very poor. And I wonder if that's why we had such so many long ball efforts and just avoiding.
Maybe that was just avoid it. Right? Bobby Ferguson said, lads, look at the pitch. Ran speedway on here, and there's a lot of ruts and skid marks on the pitch. I think let's get the ball and let's keep the ball in the air. It's good points there. I mean, we were the entertainers away from home that season. We were the top scorers away from home. 30 goals we scored. So 4 at West Brom, four at Bradford, and another 4 later on in the season at Reading as well. So on our travels, we were the entertainers. But like I said, we scored 30, but we did concede 33. So that's not quite so good. But what we'd give for that these days.
Well, at that point we were. It was a 10th league game. We had 16 points and we were up to 7th. A little bit of trivia. So that was Nigel Cleghorn's debut. Was a year to the day of this match. So
okay.
There you go.
Seaham it was.
Seaham Red Star.
Yeah.
I think you said Seaview.
Seaview, I think.
Yeah. Which is a very lovely holiday home down
little B&B down in Budley Salterton or something like that.
Yeah. Where on earth is Budley Salterton?
South Devon, mate.
Or South Devon.
No, I said South Devon, not North Norfolk. That's where you've just been as well. You've just been in North Norfolk.
I was up in Norfolk at the weekend.
Norfolk, good.
Perfecting my Norfolk accent, which I'm not going to do. So we're going to move on to birthdays, and we've got 3 birthdays. And the first one is gone, but you can still wish him a happy birthday if you bump into him in the street of...
Who is that?
What's that? Well, I'm going to give you a clue. He used to live in that place near Colchester. Ardley. He used to live in Ardley. He was born in Harlington, which I had to double check wasn't a spelling mistake and that he wasn't born in Darlington.
Somewhere near Heathrow, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. It sounds like it should be. Yeah.
And then it all came flooding back to me when you look at the team. I was thinking, I forgot he played for them. So
go on. Who's he play for?
QPR. This is like the CV game, but in reverse. But it's not in reverse, isn't it? West Ham. Right. Definitely remember him playing for West Ham.
Oh yeah, I can remember him playing for QPR. He played up front with QPR with Clive Allen.
You got your phone out?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because
I'm
about to pick up on a story that you texted me, and I'm just getting a text. See, there is a reason. I'm queuing it. I'm queuing it up. Go on, Stat.
But my eye can
just throw this together.
Spot a phone out of the pocket from anywhere. So
I know he does.
He want to confiscate that.
He thinks at school. He said, "You chewing?
Yeah,
you chewing?" Go on.
So then he left West Ham and went to Newcastle.
Yeah,
I remember him there.
Yeah, I do.
Derby.
Yeah. I think,
Millwall.
No, I don't remember that.
And then he went to Town. So we're talking about Paul Goddard, and that chant never really got off, did it?
I didn't. In fact, that's the first time I think I've ever heard it.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Paul Goddard. Paul Goddard.
It's awful, isn't it? Yeah, it's not quite.
Well, I think it was more than myself singing it.
Good player though, Stat. I mean, and what Lyle did, which was very good, he got in there sort of the experienced, and he got in Paul Goddard and another one of my favourite players at that time. I know it's yours, Steve Whitten as well, didn't he? Yeah,
absolutely.
Big signings, really big signings.
Added experience and stuff like that into the side. He actually joined Town on a free transfer only a year after Millwall paid £800,000 for him.
Yeah, I recall that.
So a canny deal from John Lyle, and he was with us between 91 and 93, and he's made 83 appearances. I wish it was the other way around, I was about to say. He made 83 appearances and scored 16 goals. Now, he wasn't prolific.
No, you've got to think he's very much coming to the end of his career, though, isn't he?
And then, obviously, when John Lyle was sacked, he became joint caretaker manager with John Walk.
Yeah, he did.
And then he worked at the academy for a while.
He did, yeah. I mean, I've still seen him around I've still seen him there on match days, but perhaps, obviously, I don't think he's associated with the club now as a supporter.
I think he's an agent.
Is he an agent now?
When I used to be on the management committee of the Ipswich Town Supporters Club, which one of the first things I have at the top of my CV, he turned up, walked past the room that we were meeting in, probably talking about supporters' issues or whatever, and I thought it's Paul Goddard, and then behind him was Jim Magilton. And then we passed the corridor with David Sheepshanks, and I said, "Did I see Jim?" And he went, "Yeah, he was with his agent." He said, "Do you know who his agent was?" So I think he went into football agency.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Good player though, and a real crucial player for us in that. Well, the season that 91, 92, the season we got promoted, and also very much the season, when we sort of consolidated that one season in the Premier League. Yeah, he was good, wasn't he?
So next birthday, Steve McCall. You must remember the chant. Ooh, Steve McCall. He said, ooh, Steve McCall. That was happening all the time in the 80s.
That was happening all the time in Stats House.
Yeah. He is now 58, because he was 58 yesterday, which is the 15th of October. Yeah. Born in that footballing hotbed of Carlisle.
He was indeed.
Played for Town between 1979 and 87. Now, I've got so many notes about here that I'm hoping that I don't lose my thread. He made his debut for Town away to Skeid Oslo. Yeah, for sure.
For sure, Skeid Oslo. Yeah, they were Norwegian, weren't they, though? Well, no, it could be Norwegian, though, to be fair.
Well, it's close enough for Norwegian for me. Skeid Oslo.
Skeid Oslo.
Yeah, and then he scored his first 2 goals against Skeid Oslo in the return leg when Town won 7-0. He was ever present in 81-82. He went on to make 166 consecutive appearances, played for England under-21, won England B caps, won the UEFA Cup, 331 appearances, 12 goals, and he was he's in that little group of players that scored on their final match, and he scored away to Charlton in the second leg of the playoffs.
Which was at the end of course, this very season.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a drink. My throat's a bit dry.
Yeah, McCall, he's a great player for us. I mean, he really got his chance. He certainly wasn't first choice. I mean, primarily, midfield, but left back. And he really got his chance that 80-81 season when we've spoken about this before, when Burley injures his knee and is out for the season. So with that, Burley was playing right back, Mills left back. So McCall just comes in and slots in at left back, and obviously Mills moves across to right back. And no matter how good a player Burley was, he was a great player. So seamless. He did a great job left back. And I remember, games he used to, that whole left side, him linking up with Arnold Muren and Alan Brazil. Yeah, great player, McCall. Yeah, very underrated. So not by Ipswich fans, I think, but
no. Yeah, well, he isn't, because he joined the Hall of Fame in 2017.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah,
he went to Sheffield Wednesday after Town, played for Plymouth, Torquay. Had the loan at Carlisle, but he returned to Town. He was a scout for George Burley, and then
was he not managed? Was he not sort of assistant manager somewhere as well? Was that Plymouth? Maybe no.
It could have been something like that. I mean, certainly reserve manager and first team coach under Joe Royal at Ipswich, but I think there was a.
Yeah. I thought he had a spell away somewhere else. I might be wrong.
Now I think that he's the chief scout at Colview.
Oh, okay. Yeah, still strong Ipswich connection there, isn't it? Yeah, so good player, Steve McCall.
We're now on to the final birthday of the week.
That's why I need my phone.
That's why you got your phone out. So everybody, I will allow your phone out now, which is okay. So Lee Norfolk is 43 on the 17th of October, which actually happens to be tomorrow. So if you're watching this tomorrow, then
happy returns, Lee.
His Twitter name is @Norfs08, NORFS08, and he was born in Dunedin, G'day, New Zealand.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Of course.
Is that the same as an Australian accent?
No. I think you nailed it there, Stat.
Yeah.
I think you're Kiwi. You found your Kiwi. Go on.
I am. And so he played for his appearances for Town. He made 2 starts and 2 subs, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But so his career was February 95 to May 95. But he holds a Premier League record. So history is a milestone.
God, I love this. Go on, Stat.
He became the first New Zealander to play in the Premier League. So well done, Lee.
Well done, Lee.
He deserves a lot of things, because I also know that he was he shared a house with Danny Sonner.
Your pal.
Yeah, and I also remember that Lee drove a lovely Peugeot 306 1.9 turbo diesel injection. He probably forgot about that. But if you are watching this, Lee,
the proverbial poo off a shop, probably didn't it?
Anyway,
that one, I reckon.
First New Zealander to play in the Premier League, and that was when he made his debut at the same time as Alex Matthew did in February '95, and that was in that 2-1 home win against Southampton, and Lee set up the winning goal across to Lee Chapman, who scored his only goal for the club. But yeah, 2 starts and 2 subs. But I think one of the key things is when he came into the team, obviously he was a young player, but also there was a lot of competition for midfield places then.
Yeah, I mean, also when he came into the team, obviously that was that 94-95 season, which wasn't the best. So if you said he made his debut in that Southampton game, I think other than the win at Anfield, I believe, which was a week before, a week after, I don't think we barely won another game till the last game of the season, did we? Coventry, I think it was.
Coventry, yeah, that's right, yeah. He's now a police officer.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah. He's been around the non-league scene a bit. He's certainly played for Sudbury Town,
Kings Lynn,
possibly. I don't know. Yeah, I remember him playing for Sudbury. I think possibly Sudbury played in quite a few FA Vase finals. He may have even played in an FA Vase final for Sudbury. I'm not sure, but yeah, I know he played quite a bit for them.
So one of the things that we do is we contact some of the players. Stalk them on Twitter, and some of them actually more often than not we'll get a response. And you're going to read out his response.
You do. You asked for quite right, Stat. You asked him for any sort of funny anecdotes, really. We like funny anecdotes, don't we?
Things that us as fans would not be aware of. And he's came back and he spent time to
compile it.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us what he said? 'Cause it's a funny story.
It's quite funny. So he says, pre-season around 1996, manager George Burley bought Linford Christie's sprint coach. Now, don't giggle. Frank Dick. To training to improve speed.
I remember him.
Sorry?
Frank
Dick. Yeah, no, he's a famous athletics coach. Yeah. As both were walking across the training ground, out of earshot, the youth team, reserves and first team were stretching after their warm-up. Ian Marshall, ever the sceptic, in his high-pitched accent shouts, Look, lads, it's Frank Cock." Time they got to George Burley George Burley and Frank Dick were met with 50 players in complete hysterics and never knew why. Nice story, Lee. Frank Cock.
George Burley's going to know about that now, because George said to me, he contacted me the other day and said, "I'm missing the history pods, and I said there's going to be one coming on, and he's going to listen to this now and think,
sorry, Lee. I'm sorry if we dogged you in it,
Marshy in it.
Marshy, you. Oh God, yeah, this is terrible. Yeah, I don't think there's. I saw Ian Marshall do one of these Legends things at the Dove. Very funny guy, brilliant, hilarious.
Hey,
and I can safely say there's not much love lost between him and George.
Oh,
they had a bit fallout when he left, I think.
Do you think
really? He was great in Matthew for us.
When it's Marshy's birthday, that we drop him, we slide into his DMs.
Definitely.
And just say, can you tell us a story
on Twitter, isn't he?
about you and George Burley that doesn't include Frank Dick, so we can just, because imagine if he told the same story. But can we just say, Lee, thanks very much for getting back to us.
No, it's nice one, Lee.
That. Yeah,
good one. Good one.
So, g'day, mate. How would you do a New Zealand accent before we wrap up?
G'day, mate.
Yeah.
G'day, mate. It's not a lot different, I don't think, Stat, really.
But yours sounded exactly the same, whereas mine was a bit different. It's like,
I know I think yours was down to your nasal thing, though. I think you had going on there. G'day,
so
mate.
There we go. You're right. My nasal thing is struggling, Cobber.
Done well, Stat. Well, Stat. Stalwart performance. Enjoyed that, mate. Again, another week. Hopefully next week. Next week perhaps when we get into late October, early November, or who knows? UEFA Cup might come round again. Who knows?
I might start singing The Champion. Why did we not ever have that music? Why would Town never good when they had ball waving flags and stuff like that?
We'd never be off the bloody telly now, would we? We'd be like Leeds. Leeds would be like. No, enjoyed that. So pods were coming up. Upcoming pods. Rich and the excellent Harry from Bath will be with you doing preview show, which will go out on Friday, which was this week be previewing the crucial, I would say crucial. Would you say crucial, Stat? Would you lose crucial?
I've heard some people have said if we lose that game against QPR that we're relegated.
Stop it with yourself.
Can you believe that?
I intimated as much with half a mind on the QPR game, with more than half an eye on the Leeds game coming up midweek.
So what you say?
Yeah.
So what? Joking aside, if we lose at home to QPR and Leeds,
stop it. No, of course not. But
are we going to sack the manager?
Oh, don't know. How much goodwill has the Swansea result got us? That's a good question, Stat. I don't know, mate. So I think, do we not go? I know it's out there. I know it's a history, but do we not go QPR, Leeds, Preston, Reading?
Yeah,
because you're away, aren't you? Because
that's on the
Millwall. Sorry, Millwall.
Yeah.
Millwall, Preston, Reading. I think it goes.
Millwall's the 27th.
Millwall's the 27th.
Reading's the 10th.
Yeah, 11th. And then there's a break. Then there you go. So then there's the next international break. Yeah, it's just a shame. I think it's just a big game Saturday because, you know, all the momentum that you've got from that, let's face it, unexpected result at Swansea. If they lose, is pretty much gone, given that we've got Leeds away, which, let's face it, is, I'll
tell you what.
No one expects anything to happen.
We'll lose to QPR and we'll beat Leeds.
There you go.
And Marcus Evans will be going, no, I just don't know what to do now. You know, what do I do?
I'm stuck. Anyway, so where were we? Yeah, Rich and Harry will be here with a preview pod on Friday. I or someone will be doing the flagship show on Sunday.
It won't be me. I'm never invited on there. I've been putting together a little spreadsheet now of appearances. So I'm going to have like a John Linford.
Sorry, guys. I think I've hit a nerve there. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
people don't remember John Linford, but he actually played really well for Town in that one game, and that's a bit like me on the flagship show.
Did he not play against AS Roma, Stat? Am I right?
He did.
Ah, God, pulling it out of the bag there.
You did.
And if
we're going to have tenuous links, Steve McCall, whose birthday was the other day, scored against AS Roma. I think in that same
bit of a deflection, bit of a flecky. I think.
If your history books show it's his goal.
No. Okay. No. And if we're lucky and Stat's feeling better and I'm not struck down with a Stat lurgy, we'll be back at some point next week with another This Week in ITFC History. Nice one,
Cheers.
Stat.
Yeah, enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, enjoyed that too. You can reach me at David Diamond 3 with any questions or please any matches you'd like us to cover in Stat. They can reach you at
Chompex3, where you want us to bring games alive. Anybody can read a stat in a book, but yeah, just tell us a game. Have a look in the future, as long as it's not Ipswich 2, Newcastle 2, which we know nothing about whatsoever. But it just gave us the opportunity to get out our Raoul Malt impressions.
Raoul Malt, Ratatouille. Yeah. All right, mate. See you next week.
Yeah, take care.
Cheers, bud. Bye. Bye.
From back to Stewart. Oh, he turns to defend sweetly. Round the goalkeeper and scores a magnificent goal at the top end.